March keeps on rolling along. Last night we had some more big-time games, more conference championships kicked off, massive games, and we had a scoring record almost get broken. I'm losing my voice from my side of March Madness, working with my school's live streams, but we're hanging in there. We're all hanging in there right now. But March Madness is almost here, and I cannot wait. Day by day, we get closer and closer. Welcome back to the Sports Raid College Basketball Edition. We're live every day at 10 a.m. to talk all things college basketball as the tournament approaches. First thing we're going to get into is Antoine Davis and Detroit Mercy. They lost last night, and it ended their season. Unfortunately for them, it was potentially the end of the career for Antoine Davis. He needed 3 more points to take down Pete Maravich's record. He did not get enough last night. Trying to find the game, because KenPom doesn't have those type of stats. You know, I love my KenPom, but yes, Detroit Mercy was unable to pull out the victory, which means that their season is more than likely over. They might get into the CBIA tournament, which is the level below the NIT, which would technically mean that he would still break it. They lost to Youngstown State 71-66. I feel for the guy. No matter how you feel about the record, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not a real record. Either way, what he's done is insanely impressive, and he is going to fall just short as of now. There is still hope. I really hope that he gets in so he can break the record. I mean, yes, last night he needed 25 points to break the record, 24 to tie. He ended up with 22, so he'll not live in history for now. Did not have his best game from the field. He only shot 7 of 26 and 4 of 16 from the field. I feel like from what I saw from that game, Detroit Mercy didn't put a ton of effort into winning the game. They were more focused on trying to get on the record, and they were in that game. It just shows how impressive, how bad of a game he had, but still was able to put up 22 points. It's pretty awesome. But yes, for the poor guy, it was not enough last night. He played 38 of the 40 minutes. Youngstown State pulled out a 5-point victory. Detroit Mercy was actually up at half. So I don't know whether you think that they should have spread the rock out more and try to focus on winning the game primarily. I heard both sides of the story. I heard them say they were trying to win the game. They just couldn't get their shots to fall the same right in the second half. And we all know how good Youngstown State's offense was, and it was on full display once again last night. Very impressive win for Youngstown State as well. They're going to advance to their conference semifinals, the Horizon League. But Cohill, we talked about him a little bit. Brandon Rush, we also talked about him a little bit. 17 for Cohill, 15. Amir Nelson had 20 last night. Or Adrian Nelson, I'm sorry, had 20 points last night. And Youngstown State is now going to advance to their conference championship. They were not my pick to win it, but they were my pick to win. I'm sorry. They were my pick to win. Detroit Mercy was my sleeper. Now Detroit Mercy's out, so now it's all Youngstown State for me from here. The bubble was also in full effect last night. Michigan took on Illinois in a classic game down in Champaign, Illinois, but Michigan was unable to defeat Illinois. I said it was a big-time chance for Michigan to pick up a big win heading into March, and for Illinois, they had to make sure they won that game, and they won it. So Illinois, any question marks that there was, I said they were pretty comfortably in. I said there was still a little bit of a chance that they could miss it if things went worst-case scenario, but they didn't. They were able to pull out a double overtime victory over Michigan last night. Very impressive win for them. And there was another Big Ten game that was in complete and utter mayhem, and that was Michigan. What was it? Oh, there's 2. Purdue and Wisconsin. That's another big time. We'll get to that game. Purdue, Wisconsin, another big time bubble game that Wisconsin did not pull out. Purdue picked up a big time win in Madison for Wisconsin. Got a feel for those guys too. That's back-to-back close wins that they had. They outscored Purdue in the second half, but they lost by 2, 63-61. And C. Anderson, thank you for the follow on TikTok, man. I appreciate it, my guy. That was I didn't get to watch too much of that game. Like I said, I was calling my school's games, so I wasn't able to do too much there. Zach Edey, 17 points, 19 rebounds. 19 rebounds. Again, Zach Edey, probably the best big man in the country, at least in the post. Maybe you can say Trace Jackson Davis. You might be able to make that argument. I would hear you out for that. I'm going to roll with Zach Edey, though. For the Badgers, they shot well from 3. They shot well from the field. They didn't get to the free throw line a lot, which definitely hurt. Just Purdue, they also shot very well from the field. They didn't shoot that well from 3, only 21%. They also got to the free throw line a lot more. Callbrick, thank you for the follow, my man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a big time game though for the bubble. So Wisconsin now they're on my out. After the loss last night, I said Wisconsin was my last team in. No, sorry, they're not my last team in. They are now my last team in. They were my second to last team in heading into last night, but now they are currently my last team in the tournament. Arizona State, they have fallen out. I've knocked Arizona State out, and I've put the Tar Heels in. Maybe a little biased, but it all played itself out. If North Carolina is able to beat Duke on Saturday or tomorrow, I guess, they will definitely shut down any argument on why they should or should not be in at this moment. But they would still take care of business in the ACC tournament and win a game or two. Very impressive win, though, by Purdue. North Carolina now has bumped in. Kendall, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. They have now bumped themselves into the tournament, and now Wisconsin sits on the frink, and Arizona State sits right outside. Some more bubble action, though. We talked a little about the Wisconsin, Michigan, a team that I was very high on and I was hoping would find a way to get in. I would love watching this team play. They might have just hurt their chances. They picked up a tough loss at Illinois last night in double overtime. Yeah, that definitely hurts. Hunter Dickinson, I have a lot of respect for Hunter Dickinson. He does not back down, even when it comes to trash talk. And he plays great almost on a nightly basis. Michigan, they might have to win the tournament or go on a nice run in the tournament. But Hunter Dickinson had a phenomenal game. 31 points, 13 rebounds. Bufkin, I've talked about him earlier this week. He has really, really stepped up for the Wolverines the last few weeks as they've started to get their groove and started to catch a little bit of heat going down the stretch. He had a nice 23-point game. That was a lot of points scored in overtime. 21 points for Illinois. Low defensive game, a high offensive paced game. But yeah, so 23 points for Bufkin. He was 3 of 4 from downtown. Hunter Dickinson, 31 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks, turned over the ball, 16 rebounds. Turned over the ball a little bit. Had about 6 turnovers. Can't really have that, but he was dishing the rock. Jett Howard, he was okay. 3 of 8 from the field, 2 for 2 from downtown, 15 points. Kind of Bufkin's been taking over the more guard scoring role. So that's kind of explains why Jett Howard might have slowed off a little bit here. But, I mean, when you're having starters not take shots, I know he only played 9 minutes. Maybe it must have been it was senior night. Never mind. I'm sorry. Wait, was it a senior night? Will Shetter played 9 minutes. Don't know why he was starting. That's a little weird. That's a little odd. Bench only scoring 9 points definitely doesn't help if you are Michigan, though. They're going to have to figure something out. They're going to have to find a way to go on a little run in the Big Ten tournament if they're going to want to make March Madness. Let's switch over now to some conferences. Let's talk some conferences. We start off with the CAA conference tournament, which begins here in just a moment. And here we go. My favorite person on planet Earth, my official hater. Thank you for watching every day, bro, and I do appreciate it. But it's another big time tournament going down. Conference tournament. I really got to get more prepared to have this stuff pulled up beforehand. But we started off tonight. Hampton with Monmouth, 2 of the worst teams in the entire country. Yeah, neither of them are very, very good. Back to the bubble a little bit. I forgot to mention one thing. Michigan, where do we think they're going to have to win? How far do we think they're going to have to go in the conference tournament to be able to make more March Madness? Let me do it down in the comments or let me know in the TikTok live, and we can talk about that a little bit. Getting to the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Conference, there's a clear-cut favorite. And it's Charleston. Charleston has been a phenomenal team, has been absolutely insane, and they play team basketball. They don't have a true standout star. I mean, I get Brovzik is technically their star, or Pat Robinson. He's a very good player, but I don't even know if they have a top 5 player in the conference, but they're coached well. They have a very good unit. They only have 3 losses on the season. They lost to North Carolina earlier in the season, which that's a good win for North Carolina. That is a good win for North Carolina going down the stretch. It's a very high quad 2 win for the Tar Heels. They lost to Hofstra late, and they lost to Drexel in a 1-point game. But all in all, my favorite to win this tournament is Charleston. I think this should be everybody's. They're probably the best team on both sides of the ball. Maybe not defensively. Hofstra will probably be the best defensive team. But overall, their biggest threat is going to be Hofstra. Best defensive team, second best offensive team. Thing is, Hofstra is a very, very bad free throw team. They do not shoot well from the free throw line, or at least get a lot of trips at the free throw line. And they have an okay free throw percentage. They're kind of down there, but they also don't rebound the ball offensively enough where I think they can compete with Charleston, who is the best offensive rebounding team in the entire country. Talking sports, talking college basketball. That's what I'm talking. Join in. Let's talk college basketball. Hofstra. I'm live on YouTube, by the way. If it just seems weird when I'm doing, I'm live on YouTube. Kata Media. Go check it out. Make sure you drop us a subscribe. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. But Charleston is the best team in this conference. They're an absolute phenomenal team on both sides of the ball. They may be a little bit slow on the tempo, but they control the tempo. It's not how fast you play, it's how much you control the speed of the game, and that is exactly what Charleston does. They are efficient. They rebound well. There's almost no weakness to this team. I think they're going to be a very, very big threat to pull. I can almost guarantee I'm going to pick them as one of my upsets in March Madness, especially if they play a team that is not great on the defensive end because they might rip them apart. You have to score a lot of points to beat this team, so they are my favorite to win. My dark horse is Towson just because of how good they are on the offensive rebound. The second best offensive rebounding team in the entire conference. Best three-point shooting team in the entire conference, too. That is the biggest thing. You have to be able to rebound and you have to be able to shoot threes. I've talked about it and take care of the ball. They do all three of those things. They check off all the boxes there. So I think Towson can definitely give Charleston a run for their money. Charleston and Towson, they have met already at least once this season. Charleston beat them at home by 8. Did they play again? They did. Charleston won by 2 on the road. So they definitely have played Charleston tight a couple of times. Just quit YouTube, bud. You can't. You're right. I can't get a girl. Honestly, I can't get a girlfriend. And that is you know what? Because I talk college basketball. That's why I can't get a girlfriend. Oh well. Towson. Honestly, I really like the way they play. I really, really do like this team, and I think they definitely can give them some trouble. They can give Charleston some trouble. That's the thing. You got to give Charleston some trouble. Offensively, they're very, very good. They shoot the three ball. Cam Holden is one of the best three-point shooters in mid-major basketball, and you pair him with Nicholas Timber Blake in the backfield or in the backcourt. It definitely can cause a team some trouble. Charleston, though, they have a very good defense, and I do think that they're going to still be able to maintain some trouble for Towson when it comes to Towson's offense. So I still think very comfortably Charleston will win the Colonial Athletic, but Towson is definitely going to be my dark horse. And I love Towson this year. I bet on them a couple times. I love Towson this year. Summit League, another massive league inside college basketball. It's another tournament. This is another league that I don't know necessarily a ton about. Try to do some research leading up to it, but it's going to be a very interesting tournament, in my opinion, because from what I saw, I can't really determine who. It took me forever to figure out a dark horse to win the tournament. I mean, my favorite, obviously, Oral Roberts is winning this tournament, though. Max Abrams, they're winning this tournament. That's the only team I knew really much about. They're clearly the best team on both sides of the ball, and it's not really close. I think anybody would be a dark horse to win this tournament. I would love to see Denver try to pull it out. Talking about Kentucky just a moment. I would love to see Denver pull this out because they are a very, very good team. They've never made the NCAA tournament. I would love to see them get in. But Oral Roberts is the clear-cut favorite to win it. Best team on both sides of the ball. Best three-point shooting team. One of the best rebounding teams. Best defensive teams. Least amount of shots made against them. Allow the least amount of shots to be taken. They block the ball. They steal the ball. They force turnovers. They take care of the ball. They control the pace of the game. They check off all the boxes. It is clearly Oral Roberts is the favorite to win it. If I was going to pick a dark horse, I would pick South Dakota State because they're the second best team on both sides of the ball. And I think it's fair to say that they would be a dark horse because of how far and ahead Oral Roberts is. Oral Roberts is the clear-cut best team. That's what I do, bro. That's what I do. Oral Roberts is the clear-cut best team in this conference. So anybody is a dark horse, in my opinion. The gap is that large. And I think Oral Roberts makes it in. Even if they would lose in the conference title, I do think that they have built a solid enough resume, and they're a good enough team where they would still get in. 27-4, lost to St. Mary's by 8, lost to Houston. They got dominated by Houston. Lost to New Mexico, and they have not lost since January 9th, and I don't see them losing again. I think their next loss will be in March Madness. And honestly, I might even throw some money on them to win it all. Thank you for the likes, Kendall. I appreciate it. Throw money on them to win it all because they're just a phenomenal team on both sides of the basketball, and I really like the way they play. We saw them a few years ago against Ohio State. They're only better than they are now, than they were then and now. So let's say this. No bets today. No bets today. I'm sorry. I looked at the slate a little bit. There's nothing I really liked. Responsible betting is a big thing. I've learned my lessons with that plenty of times. I was just fortunate to do it young enough, and I didn't do it with a lot obscene amounts of money. But I've definitely learned my lesson on forcing bets and forcing something. I don't I don't see anything. No, I don't get money from likes on the TikTok, but what it does is it pushes it to other people and helps my page grow. So I do appreciate the likes a lot. I just don't. There's nothing I like, and I want to be smart about it. I don't have a very big bankroll. I'm in college, so I'm gonna be smart here. I'm gonna take the night off from betting. Just enjoy the games that are on. Just the spreads are just a little. There's just nothing I really like. Broke boy. Yeah, you're right. You are right. I'm 20 years old, and I go to a community college. Yes, I am broke. But yeah, no, it's all fun. I'm just not going to place any bets. I'm not going to place any bets tonight. And I love the slate tomorrow. So I will give you some bets tomorrow. Somebody on the TikTok live asked me to talk about Kentucky. So we're going to talk about Kentucky. Listen, Kentucky basketball. I said it earlier this week. One of Kentucky, North Carolina, or Duke is going to make the Final Four. I know North Carolina still has to earn their right to party and make the dance. But this Kentucky team is my favorite to do that. I really think this team is loaded with talent, and I know they just lost to Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt's given a lot of people a run for their money. Ever since that loss to Georgia, they seem to have. I mean, they beat Mississippi State, they beat Tennessee, they beat Florida, they beat Auburn, lost to Vandy by 2 at home. If they can just beat Arkansas and win a game or two in the SEC tournament, they're going to be in the tournament. When you have a guy like Oscar Tshiebwe, who did not win the National Player of the Year last year for no reason, there was a reason why behind he won, because he's a dog. He is that good. I've watched this team. Jacob Toppin's another guy who is very, very good. The problem that they ran into with Vandy, first of all, they let Vandy hang around the game. You got to put Vandy to bed early. You got to put Vandy. They didn't shoot the 3 ball well, 8 of 24. It's all right. They shot okay from 3. But second, I mean, the defensive end, they just let Vandy hang around. That's all they did. They just let Vandy hang around, and that's not something you can do. That is not something. Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't shoot the 3 ball well. They did not shoot the 3 ball well. Okay. I was looking at Vandy stats. I was looking at the names, but no, they didn't shoot the 3 ball well, and that was their biggest issue. I was going to say, I remember I was watching that game, and I was like, Kentucky didn't really shoot the 3 well, but you cannot let a team like Vandy hang around the game. I need to see more from Jacob Toppin and Oscar Tshiebwe. I would like to see more also from Antonio Reeves off the bench and CJ Frederick. You're going to have to shoot better from 3. Tshiebwe, 20 rebounds. What else do you want the guys to do? 21 points, 20 rebounds. There is nothing else the guy can do. Everybody else around him has to be better for Kentucky if they're going to want to go on a run. But when you have John Calipari as your coach, and I'll stand by this, he is a great coach. He's a great coach. I know a lot of people love to shit on Calipari. I think he's a phenomenal coach. This team is loaded with talent. There's a reason why schools like North Carolina, Duke, and Kentucky, even when they're having down regular seasons, still find a way to make some noise in March. It is because they are loaded with talent and they are so well coached, and there's a rich history with the program. Blue Bloods will be Blue Bloods. I'm very excited for Kentucky to come March, and I definitely see them going on a run. He is a good coach. He is a good coach. I mean, the guy's been to 6 Final Fours. He's won a national championship. He's been to 3 national championships. He's going to be top 10 in wins by the end of next season. There's a reason behind that. He's a great recruiter. He's a good coach. He's developed that much NBA talent. He's kind of been hurt with the whole NIL and because of his player. It takes 2 to tango, though. It takes 2 to tango, because you could also easily say, oh, the players let him down. There's been plenty of guys who have let him down, but he's put guys. I mean, he made Aaron Harrison, who came into college, and he made him a very solid 2-way player. Anthony Davis became much better at shooting the ball from mid-range and deep because of John Calipari. He's helped develop a lot of guys. Karl Anthony Towns, he was an okay 3-point shooter, but now he's one of the best 3-point shooting bigs ever. You want to know why? Because he went there. He went to Kentucky. Going to Kentucky and North Carolina and Duke, you will always be well coached. You will always be well coached. These guys don't play around. UCLA is another one. Kansas is another one. These schools don't play around. The Blue Bloods will always be Blue Bloods for that reason. They will always develop the talent. They will always be loaded with natural talent, and they will always be well coached. Anything else we want to putting you on? Yeah, I mean, Oscar, he is not a great 3-point shooter. I noticed that. I mean, he hasn't shot the ball great from three, very rarely shoots threes. But I mean, he played all right. He played very good against Vanderbilt. I mean, you put up 21 points, 20 rebounds on 50% shooting overall. That is good. 11 of 15 from the free throw line. He's getting to the free throw line too. So, and he's not fouling. I know he ran into some some foul troubles in games earlier this season, but he hasn't been running into it as of recently, at least from what I've seen. He's being very smart on the defensive end. Bro, what is up between you two? You two just love. I love you guys, though. I love you guys. I love you two, by the way. You guys are my favorite. Thank you. Yeah, but overall, I'm not worried about Kentucky. I think they're going to go on a run come March, especially if they get matched up with Purdue. Thank you for ratioing me. I appreciate it. I think if they get matched up with Purdue, they're going to be perfectly fine. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Sports Rate. Another short one, not any bets to talk about, but tomorrow, full slates of bets, more conference tournaments to your rattled kid. I'm always rattled. More conference tournaments to talk about. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the Cotta Media or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. If you're watching on the TikTok, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for the follows, especially you, Kendall. You were in the whole time. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys.